If tomorrow all the things were gone I worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife, I'd thank my lucky stars to be living here today.
'Cause this flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee,
across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea.
From Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
In the far distant land of common sense, a place where we all once lived, you'll find the Conservative College with Professor Toto. It is here where the foundational principles of our great republic are still taught, and true patriots are still educated in the hallowed halls of this school of hope. Just like the iconic puppy from The Wizard of Oz, who found great joy in pulling back the curtain on the lies of the wizard, so does Professor Toto. Grab your seats and welcome to the Conservative College. Class begins now.
Good evening, everybody. Hello. It is that time again. You know it. Listen. That's the bell of freedom, and it's calling all true patriots from sea to shining sea, from shore to shore, to grab your beanbag and run into the sanctity and the safety of these hallowed halls here at the Restorationist College. And I am yours truly, your humble, neighborhood friendly, fluffy professor, Professor Toto. You and I have been friends for a long time now. If this is your first time to class, find a seat. There are students here from all over the nation and even the world. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to take 60 seconds to say hello. Let's see. Marcella Pounders, good evening to you, and Teresa Guesswinder and Brother Joseph Anaquich. Margaret Rose Lovinger on Facebook. Hello, Zachary Haney on Facebook, and Salvador Bonfiglio, Shane Burks, Nicole Stadler. I love you too. Betty Henson, Diane, Sister Elizabeth Brody, Jeff Big, I love you. Rita Barch from West Virginia, Laura, Diane, Karen Fisher, Melinda Jorgensen, Lisa Rush from Illinois, Hello, Brother Kenneth Huff. I'm ready for Gunnersville too, Kenneth. Jared Duncan from Arkansas. Francine Shepherd. Shalom, shalom to you. Sabrina Lynn. Jessica Anderson. I love you right back, Jessica. Boy, do I ever. Wow. Ann Richardson Clifton. Oh, you're looking forward to the I Told You So tonight. So am I. There's nothing I love more than I told you so. Oh, I told you so. Hello, Carmen Basta. Good evening. Wow, wow, wow. Brother Adam Wingo. Let's look over on Rumble, shall we? Wow. Look at all the wonderful people here on Rumble. Good evening to Salty Stanley. Is my Rumble feed not working? Give me 1 second. Yay, okay, it's working. Yay. Wow, okay. Nora and Aussie and Susan Pence and Marie and Patriot 358. Susan Cole, I'm so glad to see you. You've been with me for a long time now. Glad you're back. JKD and Salty Sandy. I've got about 10 seconds left for shout outs. Let's look over on FHTV. That's my favorite place in the world is FHTV.tv. If you have not gone over there and subscribed, boy, you are missing out. Let me tell you right now. Let's see. Kenneth Crawley, McAllen, Texas. Victoria Doyle. Oh, Patricia Swafford. Rhonda Rodriguez on FHTV. Cookie. Hello, Cookie. Brother Matthew. Good evening to you. And Linnea Smith. Hello, hello. Good to see all of you tonight. Well, my 60 seconds are up, but I do appreciate you all so much. I just love you all so much. You have become my friends, my family. What a class we have ready for you tonight. It's a huge, y'all, I'm so excited about this huge I Told You So. Now, the reason it's huge is because I told you so. And so I'm going to be educating you tonight. Once we get into the monologue, that's where I'll do the big I told you so. So go ahead and get your popcorn, get all your stuff ready. It's going to be a good class. Hello, Stephanie Hutchins in Indiana and Ruth Rosario, Sue Whittington. I'm so glad to be feeling better. I feel 100% better. I'm so excited. We're getting ready for our huge Super Sabbath weekend at our church this weekend, Friday night, all day Saturday, Sunday, and then our Hanukkah banquet Sunday night. So we're really getting ready and excited for all of the people that are coming in. And we look forward to seeing those of you that are going to be with us this weekend. Well, we are ready, Margaret Lovinger. We're ready to teach you, Brother Nathan Abernathy. I'm so very sorry that you're in pain tonight, brother. And I will say a prayer for you tonight, Brother Nathan, keeping you in my prayers. Amen. Well, there's a lot going on in the world. That's all I know. A lot going on in the world. And I'm going to give you my analysis of a few things tonight before we get to the big I told you so. And there's some breaking news. I'm very happy to inform you tonight of, let's see if I can find that. Dr. Robert Malone and Dr. Peter McCullough. These were two heroes during the COVID scamdemic that we all were forced to endure like a bunch of peasants. Anyway, Twitter has reinstated their Twitter account. Their voice is back. Yay. Big hand clap to both of these doctors that have had their voice restored. Their voice is back and they are able to return to Twitter. And so I'm very thankful for that. I've always taught you that truth may be a long time coming, but when it comes, it doesn't take long. It will happen immediately, basically overnight. And I'm so thankful that these two doctors have had their Twitter account restored. We have some more news from Twitter tonight. In that last dump that they released, there was emphatic proof, it was literally written in stone, if you will, that Donald Trump never violated the Twitter policy. And it was a lady at Twitter that wrote it and said, we have searched and we've not found where he has violated any of our policies. As a matter of fact, the only tweets he has is calling people to peace and respect for the law. And so he didn't violate any of their policy. Now, there were many other world leaders that were calling for violence across the world that did violate the Twitter policy, and they were not removed from Twitter. Only Donald Trump was. So if we want to understand all of this, how to make it make sense? What happened? I've been teaching you for 2 years that this is a spiritual battle of good versus evil. I've taught you that this is darkness versus light. And I'm going to show you right now why Donald Trump was removed from the platform. And this is all in the Twitter files that have been released. He was not removed for the violation. He was removed because of the dark powers that were sent into Twitter before his election to control Donald Trump's voice. And I'm going to show you right now one of those people that were the arbiter. They were the filter. The person I'm about to show you was the filter that determined what was released on Twitter and what was not to be released. This person is all I'm going to call this person, was the one that the enemy, the cabal, the real cabal, if you've not watched my teaching called The Real Cabal, it's on fhtv.tv. You need to watch that. Just go in the search bar and put cabal and it'll come up for you. But I want to show you I want to show you right now why Donald Trump was removed and how that the enemy influences people to do his biddings. And you're going to see that right now. Watch closely and you'll see the man through which all of the content had to be filtered. Watch closely.
Safety is an adaptive space. Nina Jankowicz has talked about the concept of malign creativity, the notion that people are not sitting still, they are actively devising new ways to be horrible on the internet. Mm-hmm. And the work of internet sanitation is trying to understand that and ideally staying a couple of steps ahead of it.
So his job was internet sanitation. I just want you to let that settle in your mind real quick. The man's name is Yoel Roth. Yoel Roth. Yoel. And it is the likes of this vermin that put Donald John Trump's voice to rest on Twitter, because Yoel was hired to do internet sanitation. That was, he just said it. Listen to him again. Just listen to his job description, okay?
Safety is an adaptive space. Nina Jankowicz has talked about the concept of malign creativity, the notion that people are not sitting still, They are actively devising new ways to be horrible on the internet. And the work of internet sanitation is trying to understand that and ideally staying a couple of steps ahead of it.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was me trying to endure that. Internet sanitation. Now let's talk about Mr. Sanitizer here. Let's talk about Mr. Sanitizer, okay? First of all, they hired this roach to get rid of the roaches on Twitter. And they hired perverts to police perverts. Let me explain it like this. Yoel Roth Twitter was his baby to clean up. That was his job, to clean up Twitter. Yep. So they wanted to get rid of the perverts off of Twitter, so they hire a pervert. Imagine that. So he got his PhD writing. Here's how he got his PhD, everybody. Because he was writing in depth on a hookup site for homosexuals. Okay? He helped develop the hookup site for these homosexuals, these perverts and sodomites. That's what he did. That was his claim to fame, is he helped create this hookup site for sodomites. Now, to continue, it is in his record that he has no problem with pedophilia. He doesn't believe that anyone should judge whether a teacher has affection towards their student or vice versa. That's right. Mr. Yoel Roth was hired in the internet sanitation. That was his description, to clean up Twitter. You know, just groomers running all over Twitter. Pedophile groomers just running all over Twitter. But now, the thing about it, what I'm about to tell you is this. Elon Musk, since he has taken over, has kicked more child porn traffickers off of Twitter than Mr. Yoel Roth ever did. All right? So the only thing that Yoel was cleaning up was talk about a stolen election. That's what he was sanitizing. No, don't worry about sanitizing. Let's see how many it was. Hold on. He was too busy kicking conservatives off to kick off child predators. As a matter of fact, Twitter has doubled the number of child porn accounts every day that they are getting off of there, because Elon Musk didn't buy a platform, he bought a crime scene. And since he took it over from Yoel, they have doubled the number of child porn accounts every single day. In 24 hours, Twitter has taken down 44,000 child porn images. Now remember, Yoel is Mr. Internet Sanitation. But you see, in their minds, what needs to be cleaned up is not pedophilia. No, that's coming, ladies and gentlemen. They're trying to get you ready for it. Let's don't clean that up, because truly, child porn is not what they consider evil anymore. No. They consider conservatism evil. Donald Trump, evil. Mama Bears, evil. The only evil in this world to them is traditional values. Remember what I just said. The only evil to the liberal is traditional conservative values. So Mr. Internet Sanitizer is cleaning up Twitter. Oh, yes, he is. Except from the pedophilia. Now, Our beloved leader, Donald John Trump, and I don't care what polls you see today, he is still our beloved leader. I say that to drive the liberals crazy. I call him our beloved leader because I like driving people crazy. I don't know. So our beloved, esteemed, high leader warned us about Yoel 2 years ago. Did you know that? That's right. Before you and I knew anything about Yoel needs to, I can't reach the note, to go to jail. Yoel, there we go. Yoel needs to go to jail. Yoel. That ought to be your new, if y'all do Christmas, that's your new carol right there. Yoel needs to go to jail and meet Uncle Bob in the back of a cell. Oh, hallelujah. Oh, yes. Anyway, our beloved, esteemed leader warned us about Yoel 2 years ago. He's always ahead of their game, always.
This is the arbiter. This guy is the arbiter of what's supposed to go on Twitter. He's the one he thought, and he used CNN as a guide. CNN, which is fake news. He uses CNN as a guide. His name is Yoel Roth, and he's the one that said that mail-in balloting, you look mail-in. No fraud? No fraud? Really? Why don't you take a look all over the country? There's cases all over the country. If we went to mail-in balloting, our election all over the world would look as a total joke.
Well, he knew. He's always. Why do you think they hate Donald Trump? The man speaks truth to their lies. He reveals their cockroaches in front of the whole world. He calls them what they are, fake news. They despise truth. This generation hates truth. They hate men that are not, just bowed down to every Jezebel in town. They hate men with a backbone. They hate men that tell you the truth and don't care if you like it or not. That is exactly what Donald Trump is. He is a truth teller. Now, I'm looking at a chat, somebody in the chat on YouTube, and I normally don't look at the chat when I'm talking because it distracts me, but there's a young lady here tonight by the name of Ruru, and I'm so glad you're here, Ruru. You're my welcome guest tonight. But she says, I've not heard you say anything about the gospel tonight, only child porn. Ruru, Ruru, this is not my show for the gospel. I do that every other night of the week. And the truth is, I'm telling you more gospel than you've probably heard all year long. I just talked about rebellion and Jezebel and evil. If you'll listen to me, you'll hear about the gospel. And if you'll just go search on fhtv.tv, you'll find thousands of my teaching videos on the gospel. I really would love for you to find it. But tonight is my political podcast. And so, yes, you're going to hear about child porn and all the other, things associated with it, because that is what Twitter was famous for. So Donald Trump just said that the arbiter, which was this sodomite, controlled the flow of information at Twitter. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's the deal you need to remember. Some way, somehow, the world's richest man who don't need anything, only one that can afford to buy Twitter like that without them expecting it, the only one that can afford to reveal it with no fear, God just tapped on his little heart and said, hey, go buy Twitter. Be my hands. Go buy Twitter, because I want to reveal to the world that all of my servants were not lying. I want the world to see through a man that don't even like Donald Trump, a man that didn't even vote for Donald. I want them to see through him a man that everybody thought was the most brilliant genius in the world just a few months ago. Everybody just, Elon, Tesla. And, you know, I bet they're going to blow their Teslas up because every Tesla they bought was paying to buy Twitter so that God could use their money to reveal their schemes. Isn't that amazing? How that all just sort of works out. Amen. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I tell you what, Ruru, have a good day. Let's little block button. I love those buttons. I love those buttons. I just love block. I love it. I love it. Okay. So anyway, nobody got time for all that. I tried to be nice to you. But the liberals won't let you be nice. They just won't. But here's something nice. Guess who was just called into the judges' chambers today? Arizona. Wake up, Arizona. The judge just called yours truly, Carrie Lake and Katie Hobbs, for an emergency court hearing. Dum da dum dum. Dum da dum. Boom. Truth may be a long time coming, but when it comes, it don't take long. How many's ready to see hypocrisy on display? I'm going to show you a quick video. Hypocrisy on display. You're going to love this. Just watch. You're going to love this.
Is rhetoric on social media a problem and a threat to our democracy, Mr. Ward?
Yes, absolutely.
Mr. Siegel?
Yes.
Ms. Caraballo?
Yes.
Ms. Nomani?
Yes.
Ms. Tyler?
Yes.
Another question I have, do you believe that rhetoric targeting officials with violence for carrying out their constitutional duties is a threat to democracy, Mr. Ward? Mr. Siegel?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Only a few weeks after the attempted attack on a Supreme Court justice on June 25th, one of the witnesses, Alejandra Caraballo, tweeted out the following in response to a decision on abortion overturning Roe v. Wade, and I'll quote directly from the tweet: "The 6 justices who overturned Roe should never know peace again. It is our civic duty to accost them every time they're in public. They are pariahs. Since women don't have their rights, these justices should never have a peaceful moment in public again." I know something about being accosted. The night of January 5th, I was physically accosted on the streets of DC in Navy Yard by a constituent of mine. I fervently blamed rhetoric on social media, rhetoric at public events, for being physically accosted. I carry a gun everywhere I go when I am in my district and I'm at home, because I know personally that rhetoric has consequences. I've had my car keyed. I've had my house spray painted. I had someone trespass in my house as recently as August. I've been doxxed on social media about where I live. And I've had to add to security everywhere I go. Often, because I can't afford it, I have to carry my own firearm wherever I go. And Alejandra Caraballo also recently tweeted on November 19th, not even a month ago, that the Supreme Court, vested with the judicial power of the United States by our Constitution, stated they are not a legitimate court issuing decisions. And also the Supreme Court is an organ of the far right. So my last question today of Ms. Caraballo: do you stand by these comments, this kind of rhetoric on social media, and do you believe it's a threat to democracy?
Thank you, Representative, for the opportunity to clarify and provide context to my tweets.
I have a question. Is it yes or no? Do you believe your rhetoric is a threat to democracy when you're calling to accost a branch of government, the Supreme?
In other words, the girl got shut down. She's screaming, you know, that all this rhetoric is causing so much harm, and then this lady pulls out their direct tweets demanding harm on the Supreme Court justices. It's hypocrisy on display, and it's running rampant in our nation. And they hate when you call out their hypocrisy. You know, the nation is in trouble. There's no doubt about it. Whenever you have the Freedom or the Respect for Marriage Act, whatever it's called, signed today, and this is who Joe Biden invites to the White House to stand by him at the people's house. That's who he brought in to stand with him. Marty Gould Cummings was right there for the Respect of Marriage Act to be signed into law. That's who he invites to stand in that high, honorable house that we all love, that our forefathers shed their blood for. I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, and the fun is just beginning. Hold on. Here's another one of their circus clowns that was just fired. Thank God. I have to rejoice about that. This dude right here was just fired. I'm telling you, they got a circus going up there, y'all. They got a circus going up there. There he is. There. What's his name? Right there. There he is. He was put it's official, Sam Brinton. As of June 19th, I now serve my nation as the Deputy Assistant Secretary in the Department of Energy. Well, sir, as of December 13th, your service is no longer needed for stealing luggage at airports and stealing women's little underwears so you can wear them, stealing their little clothes like a perverted cockroach. I tell you what, it's getting so bad. I don't know if you saw this or not. It is getting so bad. Let me share this with you. Look what Cambridge Dictionary has done. The Cambridge Dictionary has updated the definition of a woman. Let me show you what they've added. You're not going to believe this. A woman is an adult female human being or an adult who lives and identifies as female, though they may have been said to have a different sex at their birth. Not that they had a different sex, not that reality matters. No. It was told to them they had a different sex. The doctor looked between, and said, my God, what has this world come to? Man. Now, in the Cambridge Dictionary, a woman is no longer a female adult. She's now an adult that was told at her birth that she was female. Oops, they made a mistake. My God. Anyway, I told you so. Oh, I told you so. Y'all ready? All right. I've been waiting all day to talk to you about this. It's my big I told you so moment. So I'm going to give you the backstory real quick, and then I'll bring you to the front story. And the reason I'm doing this tonight is not to just say I told you so, because I don't know anything. But there is a touch of God on this ministry that tells tomorrow's news today. There is a discernment of things that has been on this ministry. We were the very first ones that told America about January the 6th. We told that before anybody did. And it's to build your trust in this restorationist college, that you can know that there's something here that will tell you the truth. Now, how many of you remember, and if you don't remember, I'm fixing to show you a few little video clips. How many of you remember last week, I went live on Facebook. Let me show you when I did it, just so you can see when I did that. I went live on Facebook. Let me pull it up here. There we go. And And it was about 9 o'clock at night. There it is right there. All right. And it was late at night and my camera was not working. And I had just finished watching the Georgia elections with Herschel Walker. And you can see from the comment from Babette Marr, hey Babette over in Arizona, that she said that her mom was just saying the same thing to her today that I was saying about the Georgia election. So that was on December the 7th. All right. Now, after I showed you that, or after I went live on Facebook, the next day was my live show here on a Tuesday night. And I told you all that I was sitting there watching the Herschel Walker scam in Georgia. And how many of you remember me telling you that as I was watching that election, something was revealed to my mind? I'm watching that blue dot of Atlanta and Savannah destroying the voice of the entire state of Georgia. You remember anybody was in that class where I talked about the red in the state and how that when it came up to that one blue dot controlled the whole state. And I told you in my mind, something kept telling me that's wrong. That is not the way our republic should look. I told you all that I said that's not the way it's supposed to be. Now, I didn't know why I was thinking that, but the next day after that class, several people sent me knowledge that either I had overlooked in school or I had forgotten about. But in fact, the next day, I found out that I was thinking just like the founding fathers were thinking. I didn't know it at the time. It was just, I knew something up here is not right. And I knew, and I told you that we should create an electoral college in each one of the states for statewide Senate elections. Well, lo and behold, that is exactly, well, not exactly, there's a little caveat, what the founding fathers instituted in the beginning. It's called the 17th Amendment. Now, the 17th Amendment is plain, and it says plainly, and let me just tell you, the 17th Amendment wiped out Article 1, Section 3 of the Constitution. I'm going to read Article 1, Section 3 of the Constitution to you right now. This blew my mind because I knew it wasn't right. I think like the founders, and I didn't even know it. Here's what it says. The Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state. Now listen, chosen by the legislature for a term of 6 years. Did you hear that? When our Constitution was written, the people of the state were not supposed to elect the senators by popular vote. Now, I knew that you could not have an electoral college for the presidency and not have one for the Senate. And the founding fathers created our Constitution for our senators to be chosen by the legislature and not the popular vote. And I told you, I said because if you're not going to do a popular vote for the presidency, a senator is the same as the president. They are a federal official statewide, and they should represent the entire voice of the entire state, not just the population centers. Now, I had no idea that that's the way our nation was founded. And when I saw it, of course, I just went crazy because I'm like, thank you, Lord. I've got the mind of the republic in my head. I know how the republic is supposed to work. And sure enough, that's the way the founders did it. Now, where I had it a little wrong, I told you a while ago, there's one caveat. I said we needed an electoral college because I couldn't think of any other way to make it work. But I was wrong about that. The founders said they should be chosen by the legislature. And that makes all the sense in the world because these founders all came from England, where there is a bicameral government of two houses. The House of Commons, which is our House of Representatives, and the House of Lords, which is our Senate. They wanted both houses to look like the House of Commons and the House of Lords. And I'm going to talk more about that in just a minute. I'm about to educate you on what we've got to do to restore the republic now. What our next job is, the next hashtag has got to be repeal 17, because the 17th Amendment did away with the founders' intention in 1913. Now, I'm fixing to teach you about all of that. But before I do, I'm going to show you the big I told you so, the big one right now. I want to play a video for you, and I want you to listen closely. Let's run over there and grab it. All right, let me see where I put it. Give me 1 second. Okay, we got to go to FHTV. I want to play a little video for you. Hang tight, because on the end of that show, I told you something that was going to happen, and I just want you to hear the end of that. It's about 30 seconds. Let's scroll over there. All right, hang tight. Let's go to about the 6-7 minute mark. Hit the pause button. All right, let's go over there and listen to what I told you would happen at the end of it, and then I'm going to show you where it happened the very next day. Hang tight. Here we go. Wait, am I supposed to share the... Yeah. Petitioning our state legislatures to create a state electoral college for all statewide federal elections. And there you have it. One day, I don't know when, one day you'll hear someone else say this and someone else. But I believe that's the only solution to ever having fair elections. All right. I told you at the end of the class, one day you're going to hear this from more than just Professor Toto. And lo and behold, last night, if I was not scanning the internet, and I went to the Epic Times, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you the fulfillment of that I told you so right now. Happened the very next day. Look at your screen. Look at the headlines. Repeal the 17th Amendment now. And I thought, well, I wonder what he's talking about. I knew what the 17th Amendment was. For those of you that don't, I'm fixing to teach it to you. But I just want us to read his article, and you tell me if this is not pretty much word for word what I went on Facebook that night and told you. Let's just go through Mr. Tucker's article. He said, look at the county by county voting map of the country by party. What you observe is an ocean of red and little blue spaces here and there in the major population centers. And that is what America looks like, everybody, right there. The pattern has changed very little for decades. Everyone knows this, and yet there's very little understanding as to why this pattern persists and why the blue so completely dominates red in election outcomes. He said you can drill down further at New York State. So let's do that. Everyone look at this screen. That is New York State. And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little blue dots, and the rest of it is red. Let's keep reading. He said, forget everything you know about how American elections operate and imagine a system. This is what Toto told y'all a week ago. Imagine a system where the entire state gains some form of representation in the U.S. Congress. You might imagine that one part of Congress would represent the popular vote. The other would represent the whole geography of the state and thus be dominated by broader interests of all the people. Such a system is called bicameral. It has 2 chambers with different forms of representation. Such a system traces back to the Roman Republic that we see in the House of Commons and the House of Lords. The framers admired this system because of its proven track record. And that is why the U.S. Constitution institutionalized such a system. In fact, the U.S. Constitution opens with a firm embrace, and here's what it says. Article 1, all legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which consists of a Senate and a House of Representatives. The House shall be composed of members chosen every second year by the people of the state. Remember, I told you last week that the House elections should not be done by an electoral college. That should be directly by the people. But notice what Article 1 says next. The Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators not chosen by the popular vote, but by the legislature thereof for 6 years. Now, by imposing a longer term and having the legislatures choose the senators, the founders hoped to give the states preeminence in Congress. Now, it was a careful and brilliant balance. Under this system, the Senate today would be overwhelmingly red, while the House would always tilt a little to the blue. And these would check each other. Now, let me pause right here before I continue this reading. The reason our government is broken now and nothing can get accomplished is because we have left the Constitution when we created the 17th Amendment. Now, instead of the House being a predominant red house to stop the insanity of the House of Representatives, the House of Representatives has always been the House of Commons. It's where people act common. They're elected for 2 years, and they can be stupid if they want to. We get rid of them. Not so in the Senate. That is a 6-year term. There's a reason for that. I'm not a believer in term limits for a senator. I am for the president and the Congress, but not the Senate. The Senate is that House of Lords that you need to be constant and to think when the House passes these stupid laws they would hit a red brick wall in the Senate if we still went by the Constitution. All right, let's continue. I just found this so amazing that I had these exact same thoughts. And anyway, so when did it all change? In 1914. This was known as the Progressive Era. This is when the income tax was created and the Fed was created. It was disastrous changes in our government in 1914. One of them, a disastrous law, was the 18th Amendment, which forbid the sale and the production of alcoholic beverages. Well, that led to bootlegging, right? They reversed the 18th Amendment in 1932. They repealed 18 in 1932 because it was stupid. It was disastrous. Well, if they repealed 18, we can repeal 17 because it is destroying our nation. In 1932, they created the 21st Amendment, which said the 18th Amendment is hereby repealed. I'm looking forward to seeing another amendment that says the 17th Amendment is hereby repealed. So let's talk about the 17th Amendment. It reversed a major part of Article 1 about the United States Senate that was originally chosen by the legislature, now is going to be chosen by the popular vote. Disaster. Ladies and gentlemen, disaster. With this amendment, the bicameral structure of the Congress was destroyed. It was destroyed. The House and the Senate became the exact same except for cosmetics. Both are elected by the popular vote now. This radical disturbance massively upset the framers' core design of the Congress. It took away the state's major form of representation and ended the federalist structure of the republic. It was part of turning our republic into a democracy. Now, this is key that you hear what I'm teaching you right now. This amendment, the 17th one, was one of the sledgehammers that destroyed the republic. Remember, my class is all about the revival of the republic, restoring the republic, teaching you what we must do to restore the republic. And what we must do is repeal 17. Otherwise, you're going to have a blue House and a blue Senate. And ladies and gentlemen, you cannot govern that way. I knew it when I saw Herschel Walker lose that election, and I saw a massive turnout of red all over that state. Matter of fact, it was more of a turnout than they were expecting. The state showed up to get a red representative, a senator. However, Atlanta said, no, not today. We're going to give you Warlock. It's not fair. And the founders knew that wasn't fair. So now I know that I didn't lose my mind when I'm sitting there thinking this is not the way the republic should work. This is not right to ignore the whole of the state for their senator. I told you so. I saw it. I knew it. And I'm so thankful to see others are now reporting on it. Now, for the Republicans to compete now, I want you to imagine, I'm not going to read the rest of this article, you can read it. I want you to imagine how many billions of dollars we would save not having to elect senators that we could give to hungry children, for God's sake. The founders said, no, the people choose the representatives, and the representatives choose the senators and the president. The people choose their representatives. They're the people that speak on their behalf. That's called the people's house, the legislature. Those people choose the president and the senators. It's a travesty to see how our republic has been systematically done away with. Systematically done away with. Our senators are the balance. They're to be seasoned like the House of Lords. Did you know that the House of Lords in Great Britain is not an elected body? The House of Commons is. The House of Lords is your men of austerity, your men of business, men that understand they understand government, they understand finances. They're not like AOC over in the House. They understand that they have the wisdom to overlook even the people to make the right choices, things that we don't even know what we're talking about. So, this, ladies and gentlemen, this must be restored. We need men of wisdom in that great Senate. That's why America's falling right now. There would never have been an impeachment hearing against Donald Trump if our senators were chosen by the state legislatures. I promise you that. You know why? Because they don't have to worry about politics. They don't have to worry about answering to the people every 2 years. They can just do the right thing. And then if we don't like who the legislature chose for the Senate, we get new legislators. Our government is a circus. You're right, Sister Maxine. Our government has turned into a circus. We're at a stalemate. You cannot govern now because we got away from the Constitution. Let me tell you how the enemy works. The Bible said it's the little foxes that spoil the vine. It doesn't happen overnight. They systematically brainwash you into thinking you live in a democracy. They get you to forget the republic for which we stand. You pledge and make an allegiance to the republic for which we stand, and yet it's a republic for which you know nothing about. And they're depending on your ignorance. They're depending on your dumbness. They need you to be dumb. They need you to go watch the Kardashians instead of Toto. They need you to go watch, pawn shop brokers or whatever, instead of spending your hour here tonight educating your mind to know what you're fighting for, to know that we must start a movement in this nation. And I'm so thankful for the article that Mr. Tucker wrote. I'm so thankful to know that when the Holy Spirit told that to my mind, I didn't even know about the 17th Amendment at that point. I was thinking we need an electoral college because I didn't know what we needed, but I knew what we had wasn't right. We must educate ourselves, and now we must push to repeal 17. It must become a nationwide movement to restore our Constitution and our republic. Ladies and gentlemen, this same thing happens in the church. Satan comes in and takes God's word, which is our Constitution, in the church. And what he does, he amends it. He adds to it and pulls us away from the original, the apostolic, the original. He pulls our minds away. And all of a sudden, when someone comes along with a voice of restoration, we think they sound strange. We think they're preaching some new gospel. Oh, don't listen to him. He's saying stuff I ain't never heard before. I bet you had never heard of the 17th Amendment either. I bet you had never heard of Article 1, Section 3 of the Constitution that says your senators are sitting up there illegally elected by the people when they were supposed to be chosen by the legislature. You didn't know that, did you? And when I said that 2 weeks ago, it sounded what? Strange, didn't it? No, it's the voice of restoration. Restoring the original. You're right, Marilyn Wilson. This is gold. It is a major piece of the puzzle that we must begin to fight for. We must, listen to me. I don't know how we're going to get it done. That's one part. I got to get with other podcasters, we must start a movement, repeal 17. And here's why. Because if we do, our Senate will be red and solid, and it will be able to protect us from the crazy House. Repeal 17. Sandy Williams, I agree with you completely. The Epic Times is wonderful. Karen Fisher, our founders were brilliant. They were anointed by Yahweh. And as a matter of fact, let's see if I can find it. Here it is. So this book has become, this little bitty book written by Thomas Paine is what created America. People don't understand that. What led to the Revolutionary War was the sons of the Republic that were meeting together in these little meeting houses, but something led them to those little meeting houses. Do you know what it was? This little book that was being printed and being distributed among the colonies. This book woke up the consciousness of our colonial founding fathers. It was this book. And I'm telling you, common sense is what's going to start the next revolution. Just a little common sense. But I have read this about 12 times front to back already because I'm preparing to teach it on my classes in the next few weeks. I'm going to take it chapter by chapter and teach you common sense. What created America was common sense. And what will heal America is common sense. Common sense. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here tonight. I pray that you've learned something more than conspiracy theories. I pray you've learned something. I pray that you have a passion for the republic. We must restore this republic. We must restore this republic. And we can do it, and we will do it, but not without being educated. Do you know that's why I get invited to a lot of the political rallies to speak, the Clay Clark events and different places, and I've quit going. And there's a reason for that. I just find that if I can't educate, if all I'm going to have is 10 minutes to get people excited, that's not going to help us. We need college classes. I need to be able to come to your city and get 50 patriots together and teach them about our republic, what we're fighting for, and spread that we need education. All these patriot rallies are wonderful, but they do the same thing when they go to church. It's the same thing at church. It's a big pep rally. You leave knowing nothing more than you knew when you got there. It's a big hoorah-rah. Turn the fog machines on and everybody together. And you leave not knowing. Nobody opened the book and just revealed the mysteries of God's word to you. We've become so dumbed down in church, in the nation, that we just love dumbness. That's why I don't go to the conservative rallies. I'm not there to compete with another speaker that can get people more excited than the. We need education. Before tonight, be honest with me. Did you know about the 17th Amendment? Did you understand it? Did you know it helped destroy your nation? These are the things that we need. Understanding and knowledge. That's what's wrong with the church. The pastors are not giving understanding and knowledge. They're giving a 7-point plan how to have a better life. Sweetheart, this life is the last of your concerns. You're about to close your eyes in death, sweetheart. You're one heartbeat away from what really matters, and it's the next life in the kingdom of God right here on planet Earth. Are you preparing for that? How can you? Church is turned into a social club. Don't let these political rallies turn into social clubs. Tell somebody, wait a minute, what am I fighting for? I'm tired of fighting against things. What am I fighting for? And then we educate our children and our grandchildren. Oh, I'm done, y'all. My time is up. I love you guys. I'll be back here Thursday night, Tuesdays and Thursdays with Toto, 8 o'clock Central. I love every one of you. I'm so thankful for all of you. Those of you that send me sweet emails to encourage me, it's priceless to me. Those that send me gifts in the mail, priceless to me. You know, I don't know if you know this or not. You've never seen an ad on my show. People inbox me all the time, want to advertise on my show. They'll pay me money. I've tried to make, now I have my personal ads, the Patriots Buying Club, stuff that we do, but nothing outside. I could make money. No one pays me to do this. I study for days. I come in. Nobody gives me, I'm not on nobody's payroll. I have no sponsors at all. I'm here because I love you. I love America. I've not left you like so many other podcasters when all their predictions didn't come true. I'm here. I'm going to be here 2 years from now. I'm going to be at President Trump's inauguration, hugging your necks. Oh, yeah, it's going to be fun, isn't it? Good night. I love every one of you. Have a good evening. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.